Tristan and Isolde, a timeless tale of forbidden love. Tristan and Isolde is a medieval chivalric romance told in numerous variations since the 12th century. Based on a Celtic legend and possibly other sources, the tale is a tragedy about the illicit love between the Cornish knight Tristan and the Irish princess Isolde in the days of King Arthur. It depicts Tristan's mission to escort Isolde from Ireland to marry his uncle, King Mark of Cornwall. On the journey, Tristan and Isolde ingest a love potion, instigating a forbidden love affair between them. The birth of a hero. In the misty hills of Lyonesse, a child named Tristan was born to the noble Lord Meliodas and Lady Blanchefleur. Orphaned at birth, he was raised by his uncle, King Mark of Cornwall, who saw in him the potential of a great knight. Tristan grew strong and skilled under the tutelage of the best warriors in the land, destined for a life of honor and glory. As a young man, Tristan's reputation as a skilled swordsman and cunning strategist spread far and wide. He led Cornwall's armies to victory in many battles, earning the respect and admiration of his uncle, the king. But beneath his stoic exterior, Tristan harbored a deep longing for something more, a connection that went beyond the battlefield, a call to adventure. Tensions rose between Cornwall and Ireland as the two kingdoms vied for control of the seas and trade routes. King Mark, seeking to forge an alliance, decided to take an Irish princess as his bride. He summoned Tristan and entrusted him with a perilous mission to travel to Ireland, defeat the fierce champion Morholt in single combat, and retrieve the beautiful Princess Isolde to be his queen. Tristan, ever the loyal knight, accepted the challenge without hesitation. He knew the risks were great, but his sense of duty compelled him forward. As he prepared for his journey, a sense of foreboding hung in the air, as if the very winds whispered of the destiny that awaited him in Ireland. The duel with Morholt. Before embarking on his quest, Tristan faced his greatest challenge yet. The duel with Morholt, the champion of Ireland. The two warriors clashed on the rocky shores of Cornwall, their swords ringing out in the crisp sea air. Tristan fought with skill and determination, but Morholt's strength and experience proved formidable. In a desperate move, Tristan drove his sword deep into Morholt's side, mortally wounding him. But in the process, he too was struck by Morholt's poisoned blade, and the wound festered with a deadly venom. As Morholt lay dying, he cursed Tristan, vowing that the venom would claim his life as well. Weakened and near death, Tristan was set adrift in a small boat, his fate left to the mercy of the sea. But fate had other plans for the young knight, and the currents carried him to the shores of Ireland, where he would find both healing and the love that would change his life forever. Healing in Ireland. As Tristan lay unconscious on the Irish shore, he was discovered by a young woman named Isolde, the daughter of the Irish king. Recognizing his wound as one inflicted by Morholt's poisoned blade, Isolde knew that only she possessed the knowledge and skill to save him. With great care, Isolde tended to Tristan's wound, using her vast knowledge of herbs and healing to draw out the venom. For weeks, she sat by his bedside, watching over him as he drifted in and out of consciousness. And in those brief moments of lucidity, Tristan found himself captivated by the beauty and kindness of his savior. As Tristan's health slowly returned, he and Isolde began to spend more time together, drawn to each other by an inexplicable force. They would walk along the cliffs, watching the waves crash against the rocks, and talk for hours about their dreams and aspirations. In those moments, they forgot the world around them, lost in each other's company. But their budding romance was not to last. Isolde's mother, the Queen of Ireland, soon discovered their secret meetings and confronted them. She revealed to Tristan the truth of his identity, that he was the nephew of King Mark, the very man who had slain her brother Morholt. Tristan was devastated, realizing that his love for Isolde could never be. The journey to Cornwall with Isolde's healing complete, Tristan knew that he must return to Cornwall and fulfill his mission. But the thought of leaving Isolde behind was almost too much to bear. As they prepared for the journey, the air was thick with unspoken feelings and the knowledge that their time together was coming to an end. On the voyage back to Cornwall, Tristan and Isolde found themselves drawn to each other once more. They would steal away to quiet corners of the ship, whispering words of love and longing. Isolde's mother, sensing the growing bond between them, decided to take matters into her own hands. She summoned Tristan to her chambers and revealed a secret. A love potion so powerful that it would bind two souls together for eternity. Isolde's mother had intended the potion for Isolde and King Mark to ensure a strong alliance between their kingdoms. But in a twist of fate, Tristan and Isolde accidentally drank the potion, sealing their love forever. A royal wedding. Despite their newfound feelings, Isolde knew that she must fulfill her duty to her kingdom and marry King Mark as planned. The wedding was a grand affair, with dignitaries and nobles from across the land in attendance. Tristan stood by King Mark's side, his heart heavy with sorrow and longing for the woman he loved. As Isolde walked down the aisle, her eyes met Tristan's for a brief moment. In that instant, they both knew that their love was more powerful than any vow or ceremony. But the weight of their responsibilities and the fear of the consequences kept them apart. The feast that followed was a blur to Tristan as he struggled to keep his composure in the face of his heartbreak. He watched as Isolde danced with her new husband, her laughter ringing out like a siren's song. And in that moment, he knew that he would do anything to be by her side, even if it meant betraying his king and his honor. Secret meetings. In the days that followed, Tristan and Isolde began meeting in secret under the cover of night. They would steal away to a hidden garden or a secluded beach, their stolen moments filled with passion and despair. They knew that their love was forbidden, that discovery would mean certain doom, but they couldn't resist the pull of their hearts. Their meetings were always brief and hurried, with one eye constantly on the lookout for prying eyes. They would whisper words of love and longing, their hands intertwined as they gazed into each other's eyes. And when it was time to part, they would cling to each other, knowing that it might be the last time they would see each other alive. Despite the risks, Tristan and Isolde couldn't resist the temptation to be together. They were like two halves of a whole, their souls intertwined in a way that defied logic and reason. And as the days turned into weeks and months, their love only grew stronger, a flame that burned brighter with each secret meeting. The betrayal revealed, but their secret meetings could not remain hidden forever. Rumors began to circulate about the lovers' trysts, whispers that reached the ears of King Mark himself. The king, already suspicious of his wife's affections, began to investigate the matter more closely. He hired spies to watch Tristan and Isolde's every move, determined to catch them in the act of betrayal. One fateful night, as Tristan and Isolde lay entwined in each other's arms, a group of armed men burst into their secret hideaway. King Mark stood at the forefront, his face twisted with rage and betrayal. He had discovered the truth, and he was determined to make the lovers pay for their treachery. Tristan and Isolde were dragged before the king, their clothes disheveled and their hair wild. They stood tall, refusing to show any sign of fear or remorse. And when King Mark demanded an explanation, they did not hesitate to declare their love for each other, even in the face of certain doom. The punishment King Mark was beside himself with fury at the betrayal of his wife and his most trusted knight. He paced back and forth, his mind racing with thoughts of vengeance and retribution. He knew that he could not simply let their betrayal go unpunished, but the thought of executing his own wife and nephew was almost too much to bear. In the end, King Mark decided on a fate worse than death for the lovers. He decreed that they would be banished from Cornwall, forced to wander the earth as outcasts, never to set foot in their homeland again. Tristan and Isolde were stripped of their titles and possessions, left with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the love in their hearts. As they were led away in chains, Tristan and Isolde knew that their love was stronger than any punishment that King Mark could inflict upon them. They walked side by side, their fingers intertwined, their eyes locked in a silent promise to never let go of each other, no matter what the future held. A new life in Brittany. Tristan and Isolde's exile led them to the shores of Brittany, where they found refuge in the court of King Hole. There, they were welcomed with open arms, their story of forbidden love capturing the hearts of all who heard it. Tristan, ever the skilled warrior, quickly rose through the ranks of King Hole's army, earning a reputation as a fierce and cunning leader. But even as Tristan found success in his new life, his heart remained heavy with the weight of his loss. He missed Cornwall, yes, but more than that, he missed Isolde. The love potion that had bound them together had created a connection that transcended time and space, and Tristan found himself longing for her presence every waking moment. One day, while on a mission for King Hole, Tristan encountered a woman who bore a striking resemblance to his lost love. Her name was Isolde of the White Hands, and she was the daughter of a powerful lord in Britannia. Tristan, desperate for any connection to Isolde, found himself drawn to this new woman, and before long they were married. But even as Tristan tried to build a new life with Isolde of the White Hands, he knew that his heart would never truly belong to her. He loved her, yes, but it was a pale imitation of the all-consuming passion he felt for Isolde of Cornwall. And as the years passed, Tristan found himself more and more consumed by the memories of his lost love, haunted by the knowledge that he would never see her again. A call for help, years passed, and Tristan's life in Britannia continued, though his heart remained heavy with the weight of his past. He served King Hole faithfully, leading his armies to victory in battle after battle. But even as he rose through the ranks, becoming one of the most respected knights in all of Britannia, Tristan knew that something was missing. One day, as Tristan rode through the countryside, he was ambushed by a group of enemy soldiers. He fought bravely, but in the end, he was gravely wounded, his life hanging by a thread. As he lay there, bleeding in the dirt, Tristan knew that there was only one person who could save him now: Isolde of Cornwall. With what little strength he had left, Tristan sent a message to Isolde, begging her to come to his aid. He knew that the chances of her receiving the message were slim, and even if she did, the chances of her coming to his rescue were even slimmer. But still, he clung to the hope that their love was strong enough to transcend the distance between them. The white sails as Tristan lay in a fever-induced haze, waiting for Isolde's arrival, he instructed his most trusted friend to keep watch for her ship. He told him that if Isolde was coming back to him, her ship should bear white sails. If not, black sails would signal his doom. With those words, Tristan closed his eyes, his heart filled with a mixture of hope and despair. Days passed, and Tristan's condition only worsened. His friend kept a constant vigil, scanning the horizon for any sign of Isolde's ship. And finally, on the fourth day, a ship appeared in the distance. As it drew closer, Tristan's friend held his breath, waiting to see the color of the sails. White sails. Tristan's heart soared with joy and relief. Isolde had received his message, and she was coming to save him. He mustered what little strength he had left and waited for her arrival, his mind filled with thoughts of their reunion. But as the ship drew closer, Tristan's joy turned to anguish. For there, standing on the deck, was Isolde of the White Hands, his wife. She had lied about the color of the sails, driven by jealousy and fear of losing her husband to another woman. The heartbreak Tristan's world came crashing down around him as he realized the truth. Isolde of Cornwall was not coming for him, and he was going to die alone, his heart broken beyond repair. He turned his face to the wall, refusing to look at his wife, his mind consumed by thoughts of the woman he loved. As the sun set on that fateful day, Tristan's breathing grew more and more labored. His friend stayed by his side, holding his hand and whispering words of comfort. And just as the first stars began to appear in the night sky, Tristan's eyes fluttered open one last time. "Isolde," he whispered, his voice barely audible. And with that, he breathed his last, his heart finally giving out under the weight of his grief and despair. A grief-stricken reunion. Isolde of Cornwall arrived on the shores of Britannia just moments after Tristan's death. She had received his message and had raced to his side, her heart filled with hope and longing. But as she approached his home, she knew something was wrong. The air was thick with sorrow, and the faces of the people she passed were etched with grief. When she finally reached Tristan's bedside, she found him lying there, still and lifeless. Her heart shattered into a million pieces as she realized the truth. She was too late. Tristan was gone, and she would never again feel the warmth of his embrace or hear the sound of his voice. Overcome with grief, Isolde threw herself onto Tristan's body, her tears flowing freely down her cheeks. She begged him to come back to her, to open his eyes and tell her that everything was going to be all right. But Tristan remained silent, his eyes closed forever. In that moment, Isolde knew that she could not go on without him. Her love for Tristan was so all-consuming that the thought of living in a world without him was unbearable. And so, with a heavy heart, she took the dagger that hung at her side and plunged it into her own chest, her life's blood mingling with Tristan's on the bed. Eternal love. As the sun rose on the morning after Isolde's death, the people of Brittany gathered to mourn the tragic end of Tristan and Isolde's love story. They had heard the tale of their forbidden romance, of the love potion that had bound them together, and of the betrayal that had torn them apart. And now, as they looked upon the bodies of the two lovers lying side by side in eternal embrace, they knew that their love had transcended even death itself. For in that moment, Tristan and Isolde were reunited, their souls intertwined for all eternity. The people of Brittany buried the lovers side by side, their graves marked by a single stone that bore their names. And as the years passed, the tale of Tristan and Isolde spread far and wide, becoming a legend that would be passed down from generation to generation. Some said that their love was a curse, a doomed romance that had brought nothing but pain and suffering. But others saw it as a testament to the power of love, a reminder that even in the face of the greatest obstacles, love could conquer all. And so Tristan and Isolde lived on, not just in the hearts and minds of those who had known them, but in the very fabric of the world itself. Their love had become a part of the tapestry of human experience, a story that would be told and retold for centuries to come. The legacy of love. As the years turned into decades, the tale of Tristan and Isolde became a cherished legend throughout the kingdoms of Britain and beyond. Bards traveled from village to village, recounting their story in song and verse. The tragic romance captured the hearts of many, inspiring countless poems, plays, and paintings. In the courts of kings and queens, the story was told as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of forbidden love. Yet, it also served as a beacon of hope for lovers everywhere, illustrating that true love could endure even the harshest trials. Young couples would often steal away to secluded spots, whispering promises to each other as they imagined themselves as Tristan and Isolde. In one small village near Cornwall, a young couple named Elwyn and Cedric found inspiration in the tale. They often met beneath an ancient oak tree where they carved their initials into the bark, vowing that their love would be as eternal as that of Tristan and Isolde. However, unlike the tragic lovers, they were determined to forge their own path, a love story without betrayal or death. The search for truth. Years later, a scholar named Sir Gawain became fascinated with the story of Tristan and Isolde. He believed that there were truths hidden within the legend that could shed light on the nature of love itself. Determined to uncover the facts behind the myth, he embarked on a journey to visit the places where Tristan and Isolde had lived and loved. Gawain traveled to Cornwall, where he met with locals who claimed to have known Tristan's family. He listened intently to their stories, piecing together fragments of history that had been passed down through generations. In Ireland, he sought out Isolde's descendants, hoping to learn more about her life and legacy. Through his travels, Gawain discovered that while many details had been romanticized or altered over time, the essence of Tristan and Isolde's love remained intact. Their story was one not just of passion but also of sacrifice, a reminder that true love often comes with heartache. The reunion of souls. As Gawain delved deeper into his research, he stumbled upon an ancient prophecy written in a forgotten tome. It spoke of two souls destined to be reunited in a place where love transcended time and space. Intrigued by this revelation, Gawain sought out the location described in the prophecy, a secluded glade deep within an enchanted forest. When he arrived at the glade, Gawain found it bathed in ethereal light. The air was thick with magic and possibility. As he stood there contemplating the fate of Tristan and Isolde, he felt a sudden rush of energy envelop him. In that moment, he understood that their spirits were still intertwined, bound by love, even in death. With newfound determination, Gawain began to chant an incantation he had discovered in his research. As he spoke the ancient words, a soft glow filled the glade, illuminating a path before him. He felt a pull toward it, a connection to something greater than himself. The meeting beyond. As Gawain followed the glowing path through the glade, he felt time slipping away. He walked through shimmering light until he found himself standing before two radiant figures, Tristan and Isolde. They appeared as they had in life, young, vibrant, and filled with love for one another. "Welcome," said Tristan with a warm smile. "You have come seeking our truth." Gawain knelt before them in awe. "Your story has inspired so many," he replied. "But I wish to understand more about your love, the sacrifices you made, and what it means for those who follow." Isolde stepped forward, her eyes filled with compassion. "Our love was pure but complicated," she explained. "We faced many trials, betrayal from those we trusted most, and a world that sought to keep us apart." Tristan added softly, "But through it all, we learned that love is not just about joy. It is also about sacrifice and resilience. Our souls are forever intertwined because we chose each other despite everything." Gawain listened intently as they shared their wisdom about love's complexities, the beauty of connection, and the pain of loss. He realized that their story was not merely one of tragedy, but also one of hope, a testament to enduring love that transcends even death. A new beginning. With gratitude swelling in his heart, Gawain bowed his head before Tristan and Isolde. "Thank you for sharing your truth with me," he said earnestly. "I will carry your story forward, not just as a legend, but as a guiding light for those who seek true love." As he turned to leave the glade, Gawain felt a sense of peace wash over him. He returned to his village with renewed purpose, to honor Tristan and Isolde's legacy by helping others navigate their own paths in love. He organized gatherings where couples could share their stories, both joyful and painful, and encourage one another through life's challenges. Through these gatherings, Gawain became known as a wise counselor who helped many find strength in vulnerability. In time, Eowyn and Cedric attended one such gathering beneath the ancient oak tree, where they had carved their initials long ago. They shared their dreams for the future and listened intently as others spoke about their own journeys. As they left that night, hand in hand under a starlit sky, they whispered promises to each other. Vows inspired by Tristan and Isolde's tale, but rooted firmly in hope for their own future together. And so it was that Tristan and Isolde's legacy lived on, not just as a tragic romance, but as an enduring testament to love's power to inspire courage, resilience, and connection across generations. Their souls continued to guide lovers through trials and tribulations long after their earthly forms had faded away, reminding all who dared to love that even amidst heartbreak lies an opportunity for rebirth. This continuation brings depth to the original narrative while exploring themes like resilience in love and legacy across generations, ultimately weaving together both tragedy and hope into an inspiring conclusion fitting for adults seeking meaningful storytelling.